Hello, and welcome back to Hoi 4, Old World Blues, Unity of Austin, under Keats. And today's episode, well, we're about to have some danger in Dallas. You hearing that, hand warband? You hearing that? Keats listened from his desk while the radio played the long-awaited results of the treaty solving the Oklahoman boundary disagreement. Hey y'all, Mr. Entertainment here with a special broadcast. I know I don't usually do radio as much as TV, but this just came in and the rest of the studio's taking a day off, so I figured I'd tell you all directly instead. The Assembly of Township just approved a notion to cede the town of Painted Rock to our friends up to the Chickasaw-led Great Plains Federation. How nice is that? Well, Painted Rock has been assured up and down that they'll be given fair treatment under their new owners, so there'll be some open borders for a while between them and Spearman. But in the long term, we're guessing this will solve most pressing issues of our conflicting goals with the Federation. Their leader, a lovely Miss Hardjoe, is already preparing a speech of the rights and responsibility of the Federation citizens given to the Painted Rock, and it sounds like it'll be a doozy. Alright, well that's all I got for today, so I'll be back in TV starting Monday. Thanks for tuning in. I'll let the station get back to its normal business. The voice of Texas' favorite talk show host cut out and returned to the light mix of pre-war songs usually running on the channel. Keats considered flicking the station off, but instead he just lowered the volume and got back to paperwork. So it begins. Okay. Let me read these. Okay, so we have Keats seeing the rapidly deteriorating situation between the Unity of Austin and now less than Texas Economic Union has decided to go on Mr. Entertainment's show again to appeal for peace. Mr. Entertainment like Keats, and Keats knows this. But despite cooler hands existing to TEU, it's not often the cooler heads win out. And even Rust knows the tide of public opinion is often quickly shifting against the Unity of Austin. I'm going to save, and let's look at the event, because there's different events for each path. And I want to look at each one, like I do a lot of the time. Alright. Be focused. The second interview. So, Keats, thanks for coming on the show again. It's good to see you. And you, my friend. So tell me, the question on everyone's mind is simple. The Unity of Austin pulled out of the Texas Economic Union last month, and since then there's been a handful of fights breaking out involving mutants and humans. Usually it's the humans starting a fight, but there's been one or two fights with mutants being mutant traders. Do you have any comments on the things happening at ground level? Of course, Mr. Entertainment. First of all, our Unity is seeking peace above all else. Any mutant that engages in petty fights does not speak or act for our Unity. Secondly, I would implore the good citizen of the Texas Economic Union to not provoke super mutants in the fight. You will likely lose, and besides, these fights should not happen in the first place. Of course, there was one specific event, a week or two back, where Cho Bang was one to start one of these fights, and he walked away uninjured, while 2 mutants and 3 humans died at the scene. Do you have any thoughts on what's been going on Lone Star? Cho Bang used to be a major ally of peace and of super mutant rights. Under his leadership, the plan for a provisional Republic of Texas was born, but since our Unity announced their decision to leave the Economic Union, Cho Bang has done everything in his power to villainize and alienate super mutants that until recently were citizens under the same system. His aggression towards our species cannot be allowed to stand, and I would ask him to consider stepping down if his actions cannot change. Whoa ho ho! That's a request and a half. Another question, how are the mutants in Austin taking all this? Are they facing any issues like mutants in Dallas and Lone Star, or is it different there? An excellent question. The super mutants in Austin have not experienced significant levels of discrimination since we pacified the city nearly a century ago. If anything, it is the humans who more often claim harassment, though this is, of course, untrue. Fascinating. Well, it's been good to talk to you again, but I got one more simple request. Can you do something for me? Yeah? You sure? I'm sure, Mr. Entertainment, my friend. In the, strange and awful chance a war breaks, but over all this, keep it away from the studio, yeah? I cannot imagine a scenario where war breaks out, but if it does, you have my word that the studio will remain untouched. The pair of personalities finished the interview with a hearty laugh, knowing full well that Keats had just told a respectful lie, and that Mr. Entertainment was much less entertaining than he made him out to be. Something wicked this way comes. Since Keats' recent interview with Mr. Entertainment, something has changed in the attitude of Austin. Where there was once a sense of careful agility, there's now stands an air of mistrust and anticipation. There hasn't been any fighting in Austin proper, of course, but humans are leaving the city in droves, and most businesses to and from the TEU have all but stopped. Our more perceptive super mutants firmly believe they sit in the calm before the storm. Okay, so division organization, division recovery rate, division attack versus this gives to long-term defense. With the complete stop traffic from the Texas Economic Union, many of our border guards relocated to the area have grown uneasy and have started raising towers and walls. We have across-the-border Chow Bang's rhetoric in driving the TEU ever closer to war. All we could do is sit back and brace ourselves for the incoming storm. We wish there was a way to stop war from happening, but what can mutants do against such reckless hate? And ending the wait. The anti-mutant rhetoric in Dallas and Lone Star have reached a breaking point. Moderate forces are no longer able to restrain the Warhawks, seeking to bring war to the streets of Austin, with the objective of purging the green stain from Texan history once and for all. Most mutants in the TEU have either fled or been killed in popular riots. Keats braces for the inevitable. In the eye of the hurricane, there's quiet. Rusk's Parlay. A lone truck tore across the muddy Texan plains before turning sharply towards the gates of Austin. North-facing gates opened, creaking metallically in the heavy afternoon rain. The truck sped down the empty streets of Austin, ignorant of lights or stop signs. It parked itself in front of the Unity Tower and turned itself off. A lone figure in heavy worn power armor stepped out, shotgun on his back. The guards at the front door of the tower demanded the figure surrender. He did not offer hands or weapons, but merely requested on their honor that they take him to Keats. After a hesitant moment in which they could have very well just shot the man, they nodded to each other and escorted the man inside. Keats' secretary was absent that morning, having sought refuge with family in Lowbuck for the time being. The figure was led by his escorts to an elevator, on which they rode to the 20th floor. He turned to left, then right, and upon opening the door, Keats looked up from the desk. "Ah, Rusk, I have to say I'm surprised to see you here. What delighted. What brings you, friend?" "I'm here to try to stop a war," the elder replied. He took his seat without asking. Keats didn't object. "You can wait outside," Keats told the guards waiting by the door. "I trust Rusk. I will be fine." The guards hesitated, but they left the pair alone. "Would you like some whiskey?" Keats offered. "Yes, please." Keats poured it into a pair of glasses and sipped out of his own first. Rusk threw it back like it was medicine. "I'm sure you're familiar with the situation on the ground. Things aren't looking good. Chaz demanding war with Austin for a few reasons, but chief among them are what you've returned to your old ways, and are planning on a T-style domination of Texas. If you're smart enough to know that is simply untrue. I am, and so are most of our people. But most of our people don't account for the army. The deputization program sort of backfired in the way. Offering a gun and a badge to anyone who wanted it. The guys with the most pull are the ones most trigger happy." "I did warn you such a thing might happen, did I?" "That you did," Rusk conceded, "but you also didn't warn me that you might try to pull out of the Union. You make a fair point, friend. So where does this leave us?" "Sadly, there leaves us a part where I have to ask you to consider joining TEU again. It might be the only way to stop the war." Keith smiled, but it was a sad smile. "I'm sorry, old friend. We only ever wanted peace. Grant's had warring claims on and a war goal for unity of Austin core territory, or we will defend ourselves. Grant's in anyways." Okay, I think I'm going to do the other path. But I'll see you where we do that. Magic transition that I'm not actually going to do because editing's difficult. So, loading game. The game's loaded. Giraffes are heartless creatures. That one literally is every single time. And the game crashed. It's loading. And we are back. We are gonna be checking out the right path now. Whoa, we need some trade. Robot City, here's some trade. Crossed wires. Keats, seeing the rapidly deteriorating situation between the unity of Austin and the now lessened Texan Economic Union, asked Mr. Entertainment if he could come onto his show to do a special addressing the crisis, but he warned Keats that even doing that would risk violence from growing resentful factors in the TEU that could try to kill him en route. Clearly, the situation is worse than we thought. Perhaps we should hold a town hall meeting to decide what we should do about it. We've got this big army ready to go for fighting these little guys. Because that's the one good news with this large alliance chains and all that going on, is this is actually should be very easy. Like they don't have any allies. Like they're alone. The town hall. And that's what we think the current situation looked like, and that view is collaborated by members of the TEU still sympathetic to our union. I know things look grim right now, and they are, which is why we are having this meeting. I would now like to take questions, if you all have any. Out of the 500-ish humans and mutants crowded into the lobby of Unity Tower, some looked anxious, but most looked downright furious. Keats had just spent the last 30 minutes breaking down a series of testimonies and stories from inside the seemingly defunct TEU, all of which painted a savage picture of a nation torn apart at the seams over the simple issue of super mutant citizenship. Yes, the female human in the back. Keats spoke into the mic as he pointed at a middle-aged brunette holding a swaddled child. Do you think there'll be war? Of course, that was an obvious question on everyone's mind, and it would have to be answered. Keats let out a deep sigh, lowering his head and raised the mic. As a politician, I would be obliged to tell you everything is under control and there is no need to panic, but in times like these I find I am less a politician and more so just another super mutant. I just happen to be the one in charge. So as a super mutant, yes, I do think it is likely the Texas Economic Union will bring war to Austin. The crowd started shouting amongst themselves, and chaos seemed inevitable. Unless, Keats shouted over the din, we take war to Dallas first. The crowd's attention turned back to Keats, and the mayor was sharply aware he would only hold it for a few more precious moments. Citizens of Austin, I have a proposal. This is not a formal vote, and I have no right to ask this of you. And I would propose we prepare to take the war to the Economic Union. The crowd looked hesitant, but curious. Keats stared, letting the smile return to his face, and he clenched his fists as he spoke. I believe the reports we have received as the current status of our kind to the Texas Economic Union. Moreover, I believe the reports of that, even though those humans who would treat us as equals are being held prisoner in their own homes for fear of being considered sympathizers of the enemies. What have we done to be labeled as evil? We have dared to seek our own fate, separate from the politicians in Dallas and Lone Star. All we have asked is that peace rule the day, and for that simple request our very species is now faced with an existential crisis in the form of a nationwide manhunt, or mutant hunt. The three-way war for unity was once considered the greatest war we've ever fought. We fought it for the soul of Ati's army remnants, but citizens of Austin, soon there will be a war of even greater importance upon us. It will be even hard. No, it won't. For the people we fight were once our friends, but they spurred us in the hour of the need and demonized, it is demonized, not that one, the other two I said, for us for martyrs of inconvenience. And for that we will fight them in the war for Texan unity. Keats' voice had slowly been rising in strength, and outreached his Carrizo. If they demand such war, we will meet them on the battlefield, and show them the strength of unity. Who is with me? And to Keats' great relief, the crowd was with him. Let's get to work. Yes, let's get to work. Whispers of the past. Though our military hasn't been at their A game since the three-way war for unity, the upcoming war for Texas unity seems poised to create an even greater fight. As such, militarist rhetoric has been spreading across the AT's army remnant groups. While most know this is to be richest war we are forced into, some whisper that under Keats' clever diplomacy we're finally posed to fulfill AT's dream. While this is a ridiculous claim, we certainly won't do anything to counter the idea as long as war looms ahead. Makes sense. Take every advantage you can get. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Okay. Grab you guys up. And I'd like to give you. Okay, yeah, I can get one more guy. And I will need one more guy if I want to get this army out too, which I do want to do. There we go. Well, actually, it probably went up again. Yeah, it did. So I'll have to wait a little bit. Finishing what we started. Some of the older super mutants, especially those army folk sympathetic to Crusher's cause, insist on letting everyone know that after many decades of a temporary truce, we're finally moving to finish the brother off like we were originally meant to. As such, they've been doing as much as possible to teach new recruits how to crack open Texan Brotherhood power armor. This will be a problem after war, but it'll prove to be useful training in the meantime. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, this is fine. It's fine by me. You know, we gotta take advantage of what we got. I'm fine with it. I'll accept it. Alright. Kyle the Beast actually seems really strong. Alright. Troops, prepare to roll out. Alright, now where do I want to set these guys up? So we got, what, 5 spots? Well... Oh wait, no, there's not one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright, I'll go with this. And I'll set up a line for each of them to just forward. I'd like you to go forward. I'd like you to go forward, personally. I think that might be the smartest. I think you should go forward. And I'm feeling like you should go forward. You should definitely go forward. I believe. I might be wrong, but I think going forward might be the best idea. You should go forward, not into the river, though. You should go forward. You should go forward. And you should go backwards. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. You should... Actually, you have less troops. I'm just going to tell you guys to push right towards that direction. Okay, now everyone prepare to push. Alright, everyone, get to your spots. Sure, why not? We'll do that. Why not? We might as well, right? Yeah. The soul of the South. The militarist rhetoric on the rise, and our super mutant population ready for the greatest struggle of their lives. It's not. All that we need to do is cross the border and lay siege to Fort Hood. However, lone figures requested a meeting with Keats on the border, and Keats felt it would be dishonest to deny such a request with war so close on the horizon. So here's the thing. It's a war between, like, me and them. That's it. That's all this war is. You guys aren't gonna be... You aren't gonna be part of it. You don't exist. You're lost under them. Okay? You got it? You get that? Okay, good. Paz bandits, you are, small. She state you're big. That's the Packers. Grand Inquisition is looking to be potentially beating up the cause and the Washington Brotherhood, which... The muddy field. Keats stepped out of the truck and felt the raindrops drip down his forehead. Standing opposite the mayor in front of the other truck was Edward Rusk, elder of the Texan Brotherhood. His shotgun rested in the sling, probably loaded. "Old friend, I wish the condition of this meeting were merrier." "As do I," the elder responded. "Look, we've got ourselves in a pretty pickle. I asked you to come out here because I trust you, even if I think you've made some dumb choices. All we ever wanted was to choose our own path, Rusk. We never promised anything, but that we would remain friends." Rusk, well, look where that's got you. If by informants are to be believed, you've been preparing an army you want to march into my turf to kill my people. That true? Would you have been able to stop your people from doing the same, refrain from moving first? Rusk thought about it for a moment and shrugged sadly. Guess we'll never know. Things are moving too fast now, and every report coming out from Austin only sped up things in Dallas. We only moved because the reports from Dallas started first. Well, there's still one thing that could stop war if you were willing to consider it. You could rejoin the TEU. I think we both know it's too late for that, sadly. Can't help but appreciate the irony of it all. Austin wanted unity, Dallas wanted a republic, Lone Star wanted a bit of both, and a bit of cash on top. None of our views were really opposed. How'd it come to this? Things got out of our control, friend. Perhaps I acted brashly when I started asking people how they would view super mutants, the proposed republic, but once I started asking, I knew our unity would not be seen as an equal partner. And for all that now, thousands of men and mutants die. Russ shook out his head, pulled his hat low, and coughed. Well, when this is all over, I hope I get to see you again. Don't go and pull some desperate last stand when we get to Unity Tower, get me? And I would ask the same for you when we surround Dallas Bunker. Keats replied with a mournful grin. Once the storm is past, I should like to learn better how it started. I'll see what I can do. Good luck, Mayor. Likewise, Elder. The two leaders got back in their trucks and drove back to the lines. Except the only one I'm going to war with is you. We can demand a rightful territory, though. Of, like, just the capital. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Give me that one province in the middle of your land. Do it now. That makes sense to me. We are gonna have to go to war with everyone, though. Sadly enough. Well, I suppose for now we'll continue down here. Using our new radio sets, we've managed to pick up faint signals from our west. The New California Republic is going to war with Caesar Allegiance, and it would seem, while this conflict doesn't affect us directly yet, it is worrying development, and arms factories would help comfort our worried citizenry. Yeah, this war's going a little better than going to war with everyone down there. Alright, just keep pushing. This is easy. Like, I was thinking I did in the video, like around, like, right when I started the war, but I think this war's just gonna end so quickly that I'm just gonna go and win the war before that. Yeah. We did it, guys! We win! Oh, that feels good. That feels good. Oh, look at that. We look way better than when we went to war with them the first time, even if we're still probably not prepared enough. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.